Hello friends, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and today I'm going to review, after testing, after measuring, after weighing every single Bells of Steel plate they sell. We have been asked often, will you just do a breakdown of all a company's weight plates? And more we're seeing more options coming from companies. You have companies like Titan Fitness, Rogue Fitness, Rep Fitness, Bells of Steel, and they have so many plates. So we brought them all in-house so we can use them, test them, weigh them, and then compare them to all the other ones that are out there. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. I will run through all of these plates. We will tell you how they weighed out, tell you how they compare in price and specs and features to other plates that are out there. So if you're looking to add some beautiful weight plates to your home gym and your barbell and increase your gains, this is the video for you. Let's do it. So over the past couple of years, Bells of Steel has kind of fallen into the realm of the budget contender. They compete directly with companies like Titan Fitness and Rep Fitness. I think really in some ways they've unseated Titan Fitness as kind of the go-to like budget-friendly home gym company. One of their biggest offerings though, and one that they have just a ton of, is weight plates. And weight plates in general have kind of become a commodity. You know, it's just like a slab of iron or a slab of rubber, but there's actually more to it than just that. And so we're gonna go through in detail and dive into all of the plates that they've got. Just so you know, for transparency's sake, all of these plates, Bells of Steel sent to us so we could do an honest take on them. As you'll see, a lot of the stuff we're gonna be giving is data oriented from what we've measured, from what we've weighed, all that sort of thing, as well as comparing on price. Trust me, you'll see in the review, I don't recommend all of these. And there's other ones that I'm gonna compare them to that I recommend above them due to price, features, all that sort of thing. So I just want you to know ahead of time that they sent them for free. Also, if you'd like to purchase any of these or any other plates that I talk about, we'll put links below the like button where you can do so. Many of those companies will pay us a small commission. Doesn't increase what you pay, but will allow us to continue doing reviews on weight plates and other things. Now, before I get into this, I'd love to hear from you. Is there any other company that you're like, Coop, I'd love you to just bring all of the product that they've got in-house for say weight plates or barbells or something like that and do a full breakdown review comparing them? Let me know in the comments and we'll get to it. This is a perfect example of one that you guys asked for and now we're doing it. You're welcome. Okay, let's start with iron plates. They have 4 specific types of iron plates. There's 3 that are here, and then they also have a calibrated powerlifting plate. I'm not really gonna speak to those because we don't have those in-house. Just know I've seen them online. I'm not sure if they're removing them because they're very discounted, but I know that they have them. But these are ones I'm gonna focus on. So first I'm gonna talk about their Mighty Grips. Their Mighty Grip plate is really, I think, the most designed plate. It's the most unique plate they offer. It's the one that I see most often in their marketing. It's a unique design. Now, many of these plates, in some ways it is a slab of iron, but there's some discrepancies and differences between price and coatings and all that sort of stuff. So these come in 2 coatings. This one right here, which is their Hammer Tone Gray powder coat. They also come in an E-coat. Just know that if there is a powder coat version or an E-coat version, I prefer the E-coat. E-coat is gonna last longer. It's gonna be black. You have to decide if you want black or kind of this gray iron. Personally, the gray isn't my favorite. I prefer the black, old school color of plate, and the E-coat just lasts a really long time, but they offer it in both. And that's kind of like a thread that runs through here. Almost all of these they offer in either E-coat or the Hammer Tone Gray. These ones as well. These ones though, they just offer an E-coat, which these are their deep dish plates. There's a couple specific features I'm gonna talk about on all of these. One is weight tolerance. And generally, Bells of Steel has really good weight tolerance. So all of these we've weighed, we'll put them as B-roll so you can see them. Also, all of these we've measured the inside hole diameter. One thing we recognized is their website wasn't very helpful on the hole diameter. For instance, in some places they have it listed as like 50.1 millimeters / 2 inches, but 2 inches is actually 50.8 millimeters. So there's just some confusion there, but we've measured all of the inside holes so you can see them to give you an idea on their accuracy. Generally, you want somewhere between 50.5, 50.4, somewhere around there, depending on how tight you want them to fit on your bar. These specifically are listed as 50.6, but these are warranted for plus or minus 3% of the weight tolerance. Plus or minus 3% is not the gold standard. Many of these are actually only 1%, but for the price, these are really their budget-oriented plate. These are gray iron, they're not ductile iron. They're not gonna last as long as these, but really the standout is the design and also the grips. These most compare, as you can probably see, to the Rep Equalizer plates. These are the ones that I think most look similar. They're bells of steel, like own design. They have the cutouts for handles. They just look kind of cool. Kind of that 6-shooter or Ivanko revolver style design. But these are quite cheap at $175 a pair and have a 5-year warranty for light commercial use. So when I compare these to, say, the Rep Equalizer plates, these beat them out in many ways if you're okay with the design. Number one, the Rep Equalizers are 220 bucks, quite a bit more than these in terms of price. These have a higher weight tolerance of 3%, whereas Equalizers have 2%, and Equalizers only have a 1-year warranty. So generally, if you're looking for a styled design plate and you're looking at these between the Equalizers, I think these are actually a better value. Now let's move to these. These are the machined iron Olympic plates. As you can tell, many of these take design inspiration from other plates, and I'm just gonna call that out and speak to it directly and how they compare to the ones that I think they've kind of taken inspiration from. These, in my opinion, have taken inspiration from Strength Co plates, which are a very good made in the USA plate. I'll talk about how they compare price-wise in a moment, but these are a very thin plate. In fact, they're one of the thinnest that are up here. These are their deep dish, and then they're kind of design plates. These are the thinnest amongst these. Really, if you're gonna want a thinner plate than this, you're really gonna wanna go calibrated. But for just a standard iron, cast iron weight plate, these are very thin. Not quite as thin as, say, the Rogue USA Olympic plates, which are a very expensive plate, but quite thin for just a standard design. These have a listed hole diameter of 50.6 millimeters. They also have a 1% weight tolerance, plus or minus, which means if it's either above or below that, they will replace your plate free of charge. So I suggest weighing them when you get them in and then send them the listing if it's out of spec. I will say though, out of all of these, we didn't really find any that were out of spec. All were within the spec that they recommended. Now again, very similar to these. These have a 5-year warranty. They're not made in the USA. They are imported, but one difference between these and these is these ones actually have a machined edge, whereas these ones do not, although they're very smooth. Price-wise, these are $220 a pair. The ones I think they most compare to are the Strength Co plates. They're $195 a pair, made in the USA. The big difference being price-wise is really the shipping. These bells of steel, all these plates have free shipping, whereas Strength Co, you have to pay for shipping. I will say their shipping costs are quite expensive because they're not a very big company. So the price on Strength Co's is actually more than these. I will say I prefer the Strength Co's, I prefer they're made in the USA, but these are very comparable plates, and these ones would probably end up cheaper if you included shipping. Okay, now to these, and I think these are the coolest looking plates. One, because I really like the deep dish design. In my garage gym, out of all the plates that are available to me, I have the Rogue deep dish. I just think they look really cool. I bought them when they first came out, and I bought a ton of them. I don't plan to remove them. The problem with them is they take up a lot of space on the bar, but I'm not lifting over 500 pounds in any lifts. I know that surprises some of you. But the positive thing is they're very easy to grip and they just look dang cool. They just do. It's just like an old school style plate. These ones specifically are one of their most expensive iron plates at $260 a pair. Plus or minus 1% stated weight tolerance. Come in a variety of plate sizes, all the way down to 2.5s, up to 100, which by the way, Rogue doesn't go down that far with their deep dish plates, and the 5s have been out of stock forever. So these, although they have a wide range, I've actually seen some out of stock issues with these at times too, like as of this video recording, the 45s are out of stock. But when they're in stock, I think this is a very premium, very good plate. These are actually ductile iron as well. Ductile iron is an iron that's gonna last longer. It's not gonna chip or break as much. Basically, if you buy these are plates that you can pass down to your grandchildren. Wouldn't that be a cool gift? All I got was socks. Now these come in an E-coat, the beautiful machining on the edge, on the front lips, as well as the back. Honestly, like these are very similar to Rogue's plates. The difference is Rogue's are made in the USA where these are not. And those are the ones that I think compare mostly. And these are the differences. Number one, these are $260 a pair with free shipping. Rogue's are $180 a pair with free shipping and made in the USA with ductile iron, with the E-coat. Honestly, they're so comparable. Like they really are, and size and specs and all that sort of stuff. The real difference I see is price. and Rogues come out to a cheaper price, and they're made in the USA. So to me, although I really like these plates, they're a very expensive plate, and I don't think they beat Rogue on the value proposition, and because they don't beat them, I actually like the look of the Rogues better, and they're just more proven. I would suggest Rogues over these, but if you want to go to Bells of Steel and just want an alternative, these are probably my favorite iron plate that they make. They are sick. Okay, let's move on to the bumper plates. For a long time, if you were on a budget and you were building a home gym, just the blanket recommendation was iron plates. They were so much cheaper, even if you were buying new. Now, iron still is cheaper, but the gap has definitely closed. As you'll see on some of these plates, they have some similar pricing. In fact, like the deep dish plates that we just reviewed on the iron plate side are more expensive than many of these plates that are on the table. So, you kind of got to decide, one, what's your use case? How are you going to be using these? And then two, how much you lift. Because if you lift a lot of weight, some of these plates get kind of wide, like say these crumb rubbers, where you're not going to be able to put a ton of weight on the bar. Let's say if you're doing 500, 600, 700 pound pulls, like you don't want these. You want iron. You want to maximize the amount of space that you have on your sleeve. So these won't necessarily make sense. But for many home gym owners that are just doing general training, that are dropping the bar, don't want to make a lot of noise, and don't want to hurt their foundation, then I would honestly suggest bumper plates a lot of times. But you could just get both. Now, let's get into these. I'm gonna start with these because these are all very similar. You can tell they're pretty much look the same. The big difference is the color differentiator. These are their dead bounce plates. When they say dead bounce, one of the things that is extremely annoying about Bells of Steel is they don't list the durometer rating on any of their bumper plates. When somebody doesn't list a spec that should be listed, I often am just like pessimistic. I'm like, why do they not list this? I really wish they would list it. We can't find it anywhere online. So I can't speak specifically to the bounce other than what we've tested. Other companies will list the durometer rating. What that does is it tells you how hard the rubber is essentially. I can't necessarily tell you what the durometer spec, how hard these are, how much they'll bounce in comparison to other companies based on that specific spec. I just want to say that up front. These are though called their dead bounce plate. In our experience, they're a deader bounce plate. They're not as dead of a bounce as some other companies that are out there, but generally they're not like bouncing crazy high with like bouncy rubber. They're pretty hard rubber. They're all virgin rubber. They all differ in terms of price. But let me just run through them real quick. Number one, they all have anchored stainless steel hubs, which means when they make plates, they'll add some wire to the outside just so there's more contact to the rubber. It makes it less likely to pop out. Of rubber plates, really what you find with most plates, the failure point is the center hub. And so all of these are stainless steel, which means they're not gonna rust, and they're also anchored to the rubber so they're not gonna pop out. I think that's actually a good feature. Most companies are doing that now, but I think it's worth stating. Now also, one of the things that's unique about these is they are plus or minus 1% stated weight. Often within this price point, it's 3%. So 1% is actually really good, and you should hold them to the carpet on it. If you buy these and you weigh them and they're not that exactly, reach out to them. Everything that I've seen about Bells of Steel from other customers asking about this in reviews on websites and other places, they replace them, which is a great thing. So if you really care about the stated weight and it being as accurate as possible, 1% is really good for this price point, especially for just standard black bumpers. I really like the flat black bumpers. They say these are all the same. One of the hard things that's about this, without knowing the durometer, is I don't know if they're using different rubber formulas. I would guess they are, because some of these are similar pricing, like these for instance are 200 bucks a pair. These are 200 bucks a pair as well. The only difference from what I can see is the different coloring on the plates. If you like the coloring, go with those. If you just want like the flat black, I understand, they look pretty cool. And then these ones get a bit more expensive because they're fully colored, but they're $240 a pair. Now, the plates that I think most compare to these designs that I'd say you should look to as kind of the standard is the Rogue HG 2.0 plates. Those plates, like honestly, of black bumpers, the best black bumpers I think that are on the market are Rogue's HG 2.0 plates and also American Barbells plates. You do have to pay for them. They can be expensive, but I'll just compare on price. For the Rogue HG 2.0s, for the 45s, they're $200 a pair as well. So I don't know the durometer, like all the specs that you see online, these are a very comparable plate, but I can't tell you exactly what's a better plate on these versus the Rogues because I don't know the durometer. I do know that the Rogues are very high quality. The difference being you have to pay for shipping. So overall, these are a cheaper plate than what's Rogue offering. If they're a similar rubber as what's used in Rogue, then I would say these are a better value, but I can't make that because I just don't know. Now, one of the other things for Rogue though is if you buy their plates in sets, so say you buy like a couple 45s, 25s, 35s, something like that, they also offer free shipping. So then it gets more comparable because most of you aren't just buying a pair of 45s, you're buying a set. But for ease of use and comparison, I'm comparing 45s across all the plates. Now, one spec on these, just to mention, is the width. They're all at 45 pounds, 80 millimeters. That is the same width as what they're listing over here on their Crumb rubber bumpers. These are basically, they take tires, they chop them up, and then they add an epoxy, and they like mold them, heat them up, and add them together. These are a thicker plate than these though. They say they're the same 80 millimeter width, but they're not. These are a little bit thicker, but you can just tell by looking at them, they're a little bit thicker. Not crazy, but they're definitely a thicker plate. So if you're looking to add as much weight on the bar, you wanna look at these. I love Crumb rubbers for their durability. They just last forever. They bounce quite a bit because it's essentially a tire that's just molded together. But if you're gonna use these outdoor, they are very durable. These are also 200 bucks a pair, which is a decent price. If you're looking at these, I would compare them to High Temps, which I actually don't love because they have a smaller diameter outside, and I like it to just be 450 millimeters, which is what these are. But the other ones I'd look to are Rogue's in-house military spec plates. Then we have the competition bumpers. And so you got two types. One is a rubber competition bumper, which by the way, both of these have lifetime warranties, which is really good and often you don't see with plates. And then they have the urethane plates. These are a premium plate option. Like these are for those of you that have extra money to spend, you Olympic weightlift, or like the colors and want a thinner plate. These both are really nice plates. They're competition bumpers. I would compare to Rep Fitness's competition bumpers. Everything you'd expect from an IWF spec rating, that's what you find with these. So 450 millimeter outside diameter, 50.5 millimeter hole diameter. They come in pounds or kilos, depending on whether you want to add imperial or metric. They come in all the colors you'd expect, all the weights you'd expect. A pretty standard fare for an Olympic weight plate. The ones I'd most compare to them are the Rep Fitness competition bumpers. Those are 300 bucks a pair with free shipping. These are 315 bucks a pair. So a little bit more, the difference being Reps only have a 5-year warranty. These are full lifetime. I would prefer these over those. I think these are a really good deal if you're looking for a competition bumper. Then you have the urethanes. Urethanes are like more and more popular. There's more and more companies coming out with them. It's a very hard material. They don't bounce very much. Like they don't have a lot of give. They are pretty dead bounce in terms of sound. I really like urethanes. They're typically thinner. They're kind of slick, but they put a nice lip on there with that that design they're using on their Mighty Grips. It's a cool design. I think it looks nice. The colors are very vibrant. The weight increment is a different color, so it contrasts really well. You see it really easily. The hub is screwless. Just overall, I really like urethane plates. Now that they've fixed the formula, it used to be these would peel and crack over time. I have not seen that. These are a plate that will last a long time, and they warranty them to last a long time. But I'd only recommend these if you really have money to spend, because urethanes are pricey. These are $370 a pair. They have plus or minus 1% stated weight. The ones I'd compare them to most are actually from Titan. Titan urethane plates for a pair. If you want to get two, they sell them as singles. But if you want to get a pair, they're 340 bucks for a pair with free shipping. When you look at price, I would not be surprised if these are made in similar places. Just know, rubber bumpers really aren't made in the US. It's too poor of working conditions for the US, so they're made overseas. That includes urethane plates. So when I'm looking at these, although I really like these plates, Titans are just a better value. Although, some to consider, these have a lifetime warranty. When I go on Titan's site, it says they have no warranty. I can't find any sort of 90-day, 30-day, 60-day, a year, none of that. All it says is no warranty. So for that, you kind of have to decide, do you want something that the company's gonna back up or not, and are you willing to pay extra? So overall, I think these are a good value, but if you just want the cheapest ones, Titans with the no warranty are gonna be your option. Okay, that's the lot. That's every Bells of Steel plate outside of their powerlifting plates. If you'd like to see us compare these specifically on any other plates that are out there, let me know in the comments. Just generally what I'd say is it depends on the plate for which one I'd buy from Bells of Steel. I can't give a recommendation like all these are better than everybody else, all these have better values than everybody else, because they don't. If you like certain designs like the Mighty Grips, then go with those. They're a good budget plate. But if you're looking for like the better value, there are other companies in many of these plates that I think offer a better value. But I will say generally, Bells of Steel is pretty middle of the road in terms of quality as well as price. They're offering a good value generally. But if you'd like to know any more specs or anything like that on certain plates, let us know in the comments. This has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.